Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused? Not angry, not sad, just confused. You replay every word in your mind, wondering if you overreacted, if you misunderstood, or if somehow everything became your fault. But here's the unsettling part. What if that feeling wasn't an accident? What if someone planned it? The most dangerous manipulators don't shout. They don't threaten. They don't force you. They quietly reshape the way you think, until you begin questioning your own reality. By the time you realize what's happening, they've already influenced your decisions, your confidence, and sometimes even your identity. And the worst part, most victims never realize they're being manipulated. Because manipulation doesn't look like control. It looks like kindness. It looks like love. It looks like concern. It even looks like friendship. History has shown us that the greatest manipulators rarely relied on physical strength. They understood something far more powerful: the human mind. Once someone controls your perception, they no longer need to control your actions. You'll do it yourself. That's why manipulation is one of the most dangerous psychological weapons ever discovered. It leaves no bruises, no broken bones, only invisible damage that slowly changes who you are. Today, we're exposing 10 psychological signs that someone may be secretly manipulating you. Some of these signs are obvious. Others are so subtle that even highly intelligent people fail to notice them. As you watch, pay attention, not just to the people around you, but to your own experiences. Because by the end of this video, you may recognize a pattern you've ignored for years. And one of these 10 signs could completely change the way you see someone in your life. So let's begin with the first sign, the one that almost everyone mistakes for normal behavior. Sign number 1, they make you doubt yourself. Imagine this: you clearly remember what happened. You remember the conversation, the words, even the emotions you felt. But when you bring it up, the other person smiles and says, "That never happened. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. You always overthink everything." At first, you defend yourself. The second time, you argue. The 10th time, you stop trusting your own memory. This is one of the oldest psychological manipulation tactics. Not because it changes the truth, but because it changes your confidence in the truth. Once someone convinces you that your own mind can't be trusted, they become the only version of reality you believe. And that's exactly what they want. Healthy people help you understand reality. Manipulative people rewrite it. So the next time someone constantly makes you question your memory, your emotions, or your judgment, don't ask, "Am I crazy?" Ask instead, "Why do I only feel this way after talking to this person?" Sometimes, that question changes everything. Sign number 2, they make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. Have you noticed something strange? The moment you finally say, "No," everything changes. Suddenly you're called selfish, cold, ungrateful, or accused of changing. But think about it. A healthy relationship respects boundaries. A manipulative relationship punishes them. Because boundaries remove control. Manipulators don't fear your anger. They fear your independence. That's why they often say things like, "After everything I've done for you, if you really cared about me, I guess I just don't matter to you anymore." Notice what's happening. Instead of respecting your decision, they make you feel guilty for making one. The goal isn't to understand you. The goal is to make you abandon your own needs. Remember this: feeling guilty doesn't always mean you've done something wrong. Sometimes, it means someone else is losing the control they once had over you. Sign number 3, they create confusion instead of clarity. Pay attention to how you feel after every conversation. Do you leave feeling understood or mentally exhausted? Manipulators rarely answer simple questions with simple answers. They change the topic, twist your words, bring up old mistakes, mix truth with lies, until the original issue disappears completely. Why? Because confused people are easier to control than confident people. Clarity creates confidence. Confusion creates dependence. When your mind is constantly trying to figure out what just happened, you stop questioning the manipulator. You start questioning yourself. And that's exactly where they want you. The strongest people aren't the ones who win every argument. They're the ones who recognize when an argument is designed to keep them confused. Because once you recognize the pattern, this power begins to disappear. Sign number 4. They give you just enough attention to keep you hooked. Think about a fisherman. He doesn't pull the line every second. Sometimes, he lets it go loose. Then he pulls again. Manipulators often use the same strategy. One day they're incredibly kind. They praise you. They make you feel special. You think, maybe I judged them too quickly. Then suddenly, they disappear. They ignore your messages. They become cold, distant, without explanation. Days later, they return as if nothing happened. And because you've been emotionally starving for their attention, even the smallest amount of kindness feels like a reward. This emotional roller coaster isn't always accidental. It's a pattern. The conversation never ends with accountability. It ends with guilt. And when someone never takes responsibility, you slowly begin carrying responsibilities that were never yours. Over time, this damages something incredibly important, your self-worth. Because when every conflict becomes your fault, you start believing you're the problem. But here's the truth. A mature person accepts responsibility. A manipulative person redirects it. Never confuse blame with truth. Sign number 6. They isolate you without you realizing it. Control becomes much easier when no one else is around to question it. That's why manipulation often begins with isolation. Not through force, but through influence. They might say, your friends don't really care about you. Your family doesn't understand you like I do. You don't need anyone else. At first, these words sound protective, even loving, but slowly, you stop calling old friends. You spend less time with family. Your world becomes smaller, until one day, the manipulator becomes your only source of validation. And that's one of the most dangerous positions anyone can be in. Because when you only hear one voice, you stop comparing perspectives. You stop questioning behavior, and you begin accepting things that once felt completely unacceptable. Healthy people encourage your growth. Manipulative people make your world smaller, because the fewer people you trust, the easier you are to control. But here's the frightening reality. The next 4 signs are even harder to detect, because they don't attack your emotions first. They quietly reshape your identity. And by the time most people recognize these patterns, they've already lost years of confidence. Sign number 7. They make you depend on their approval. There comes a point when you stop asking yourself what you think. Instead, you wait to see what they think. Before making a decision, before buying something, before speaking, before chasing your dreams, you need their approval. That isn't respect. It's dependence. Manipulators slowly train you to believe that your judgment isn't enough. So every decision begins with one question. What will they say? The moment your confidence depends on someone else's opinion, you've handed them power they never deserved. Real relationships help you become independent. Manipulative ones make you emotionally dependent. Sign number 8. They keep moving the finish line. Have you ever felt like, no matter how hard you try, you're never enough? You improve. You apologize. You work harder. You give more. Yet somehow, the expectations keep changing. Yesterday they wanted honesty. Today they want perfection. Tomorrow, they'll want something else. It's like running toward a finish line that keeps moving farther away. Why? Because if you ever felt good enough, you might stop trying to earn their approval. And once you stop chasing, they lose control. Remember this. Healthy people appreciate progress. Manipulative people make sure success always feels just out of reach. Sign number 9. They weaponize your weaknesses. The people closest to us know our deepest fears, our insecurities, our painful memories. Healthy people protect those vulnerabilities. Manipulative people store them like weapons. During an argument, they suddenly remind you of your biggest failure, your biggest mistake, your greatest fear, not to solve the problem, but to weaken your confidence. Because a person who feels ashamed is easier to control than a person who feels secure. Never ignore someone who repeatedly uses your pain to win an argument. That isn't communication. It's psychological warfare. Sign number 10, you no longer feel like yourself. This is the final sign, and perhaps the most dangerous of them all. Think back to who you were before this person entered your life. Were you more confident, more peaceful, more social? Did you laugh more, dream more, trust yourself more? Now ask yourself, who are you today? Here's the truth. Manipulation doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from people you love, people you trust, people you never expected. And that's exactly why it's so difficult to recognize. The goal of this video wasn't to make you fear people. It was to help you understand them, because awareness changes everything. The moment you recognize manipulation, it begins to lose its power. You stop apologizing for things that aren't your fault. You stop chasing approval. You stop confusing control with love. And most importantly, you begin trusting your own mind again. Remember, the strongest people aren't those who can control others. The strongest people are those who refuse to let others control them. If this video changed the way you see human behavior, stay curious, because the human mind still hides secrets that most people never discover. See you in the next episode of Human Cipher.